Here are the standings so far at the Pontiac International Team Championships. After 2 rotations, Romania with a solid lead of 4/10 over China, and the United States lagging well back. I want to remind you quickly, the women's competition tomorrow at 2 o'clock on these same NBC stations. On the 3rd rotation, we'll go to David Henderson again. This is his first real taste of international competition, and although the crowd is not roaring, he's looking and seeing the Romanians and the Chinese and where he fits in.
And this is a critical routine right here, because this is not a great exercise for David. It's where he struggles in gymnastics on pommel horse.
His dad is actually a martial in the martial arts. Whoa! I was just gonna
wait a minute. Do they teach that in martial arts?
I was going to say, what his dad has taught him is mental toughness.
He just sawed it right off.
That's unreal.
I've never seen that before.
All right, now it's funny. What do we do? What happens here, Tim?
Well, I don't know, because
Pommel, anyone?
They don't really. They most likely, I don't think they're going to have another one of these, because this doesn't happen anymore. He's way off there.
Ouch, ouch.
Yeah, that's smarts right there.
On the shredded wood and the metal framing, his pants got caught, but he doesn't seem to be in any pain.
Yeah, I'm not too sure any of these guys have a sewing kit.
It's a souvenir for you.
Yeah.
He ripped his pants.
He's going, that really hurt. And the equipment guy is going, oh no, what do I do?
Might have a few splinters as well.
You know, I have never seen a wooden pommel. Yeah, he's just way off there. No way.
That's gotta hurt.
Looked like balsa wood, though.
Yeah. Now, this is amazing, because there's no way that he would have not fallen. That was not.
Oh, yep, there's a hole.
That was not equipment error. And this is the scene that I thought we'd be seeing.
Scrambling for a pommel.
It's not like you can go down the road to Home Depot and say, excuse me, what aisle are the pommel horses in? And then the guy says, oh, next to plumbing. That's not happening.
I don't know why those guys are looking. They know if they got a pommel or not.
They're hoping, Tim, right?
They're really hoping, because I'm betting they don't got one.
All right, so the United States ship is stalled in the water. The competition will continue while the mad scramble to replace the pommel continues backstage. And we are going to go to Yanan of China. He looks pretty calm, but you know that there are some fairly nervous, exasperated people right now trying to figure out what to do. Stepped out.
Remember, the line is in, go over it, and it's 1/10 of a point.
And we saw way too many of those at the Olympic Games.
A skill that came from the pommel horse right there. Nothing broke there, though.
Right, but you can see in the background, and that's what I'm sort of looking at. May not be fair to Yanan right now, but they're taking the metal support structures off. No sign of anything new, and we haven't gotten an update yet on what's going to happen. The United States was just getting started.
You hear that bell in the background. That was 50 seconds. The floor exercise routine has to fall somewhere between 50 and 70.
Again, remember, 4 scores count. The first guy up for the Chinese actually had a pretty major miss, only scored an 8.75, so this is an important exercise here.
Good routine, gonna get a good score. So here's one of those 3 in a row skills. This one a little bit unusual. You don't see this pass as often as some of the others, but as Al mentioned, that foot, it goes out of bounds. That'll cost him a 10.
Okay, we find out that they do not have a pommel horse here in the building, so the scavenger hunt is on. We'll be back. Can they replace and save the competition? That broken pommel here in Syracuse, New York. We'll be right back. The #1 question coming out of Sydney was, how could the vault possibly be mismeasured? Well, this isn't quite like that. This is equipment malfunction and failure, but it's not a good year for gymnastics equipment, is it?
No, they bring extra parallel bars. They bring an extra ring. They'll have a couple sets of of bars for the uneven bars, but Ken didn't bring along another pommel.
Beth Ruyak is tracking down exactly what they are going to do. The Americans, again, are frozen. They are not competing right now, but the event is going on for the Romanians and the Chinese.
And at this point, the Romanians, the first two men up on this apparatus, the first scored a 6.6. Obviously, they would love to throw out that score, and a 9.2. So again, this is a really important exercise.
Yeah, they cannot afford another break. You throw out the lowest score, so it's not disastrous. But if they have to count it anything remotely close to that first score, that'll do it for them. Nice dismount, good landing. Had some errors in the exercise. The strength parts weren't perfect, but not a bad set.
Suciu so far has a 9.45 and a 9.5, so he's been consistent. Let's go back now to the Henderson story and get an update from Beth Ruyak.
Thanks, Al. Here it is. The wooden handle that will now officially become David Henderson's souvenir from his first international meet. Right now, officials have gone to 2 gyms in the Syracuse area trying to find a replacement pommel. The meet will continue. Provided they do find a pommel, they'll get it set up, and the Americans at the end of the meet will come back and do their rotation on this event apparatus. Harry Bjerke is saying in his 40 years in the sport, as you mentioned, Tim, he's never seen anything like this, but they are hoping that they'll be able to find that piece of equipment so that the meet will be complete. Back to you, Al.
All right, Beth, now at that point, Tim, 9.35 for Suciu. You have to hope that the pommel is the same size and design as this one.
One would hope.
And then I would presume that the Americans would have to go all together at the end of the competition, meaning not until they went would we have any idea what the status and standings were, right?
Exactly. I think that's it. I think that's what they'll do, as a matter of fact. So in a lot of ways, it could be a major advantage for this team.
Now, we will know where the Chinese stand next to the Romanians. That'll be fine, but it'll be the USA X factor that'll be there until the end.
Tremendous athletic ability. As a coach, you kind of look at some of the Chinese athletes, and it's so frustrating because many of them have every quality that you're just dreaming for in an athlete. They're strong, they're flexible, they're quick, and they're light, which in the sport of gymnastics, it is gold to have those qualities.
Absolutely marvel at their lines, their technique. We haven't seen outstanding floor scores, however, from this team. This is by far the best exercise.
Well, Tim and Elfie, all we heard about the Chinese prior to Sydney was crash and burn, crash and burn. Big competition, they fall off, they lose. That's all gone now.
Well, there's nothing will make you more confident than an Olympic team gold medal. That's for sure. They've been the best in the world, as I've said many times, for a long, long time. It just, when it really mattered most, they couldn't get the job done.
It's contagious, right?
Oh yeah, there's no question. And I'll never forget it. The head of delegation, one time I asked him, why does this always happen? He said, when one of us falls, we must all fall. And on the other side of that, though, when they start doing well, it's contagious that way as well.
9.5 for Rongjie. Back to Marian Dragulescu. Remember, he had some controversy earlier on his floor exercise routine. Was actually given back a 10th for a 9.7. And that 9.7 is the highest score that we have had so far on any of the apparatus.
This guy's a great gymnast, but some of his positions, his strength elements, aren't as perfect as they could be. This one, not bad. Actually, not bad here, too. He's gotten a little bit stronger.
And in these strength positions, the judges are also looking that you hold the positions long enough in order for them to count.
This is not one of his best events, though. We'll get to see him a little later, I'm sure, on vaulting. He excels where your body's doing that crazy radical flipping and twisting in the air. He's a great vaulter, tumbler.
Pretty easy dismount there.
this entire Romanian team told us they are just burnt at this point. It was such a big, important year, and all of their energies went into the European Championships and then the Olympic Games. And as Elfie mentioned, just a short little break after the Olympics, and once again back into the thick of things doing gudzogis on rings.
And the other reason too, Tim, is that he's getting ready for the World Cup finals coming up in a month's time. That's an opportunity for him to make some money.
9.575 for Dragulescu.